Well, I guess, Damien, would you give us kind of a little background on kind of what you were thinking when you put this together, what the big picture idea is, kind of
Sure.
what we should be getting from today?
What's I know this is a weird question because everybody, you can't sort of see each other, but maybe, just a couple of you, what's your feelings about 2023? What's, obviously the market's changed, rates are up, but what's your sort of general consensus? Bobby, you're on the screen, you go first.
I think that things are going to look up and what happened to me? Did I go somewhere?
No, we got you.
No, we can see you.
Okay. Well, I think that things are going to look up. And the reason I think that is because people will get used to these numbers. They haven't been used to the numbers and they've been afraid. And now it's just going to be the normal that when the lender says 6%, they won't be in a panic because it's not new. It's like
It's kind of
that is
settled,
what it
people are
is.
used to it. Yeah, I think so.
And at some point, you will see that if you have to move, you have to move. If you want to do something, you have to do something. The fact that 2 years ago, the interest rates were 2% is just history. In the beginning, they panic and they say, well, I'm going to wait for them to come back down. But I think we all know they aren't coming back down. And at some point, this is the new normal. And the difference, I think, for agents is what I realize how old you have to be in order to have gone through some of the past experiences that I've had. But the markets do eventually catch on to that is what it is.
Right.
And you're just going to have to deal with it. And then what our job is, we're going to have to be capable of explaining to people and understand ourselves that what has changed is that we're not doing a seller's market anymore. The seller doesn't call the shots. The seller doesn't slap the buyer around. That now the worm has turned and the buyer's going to start slapping the seller around.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So we have to start.
Everybody's getting slapped around.
Well, somebody's always getting slapped around, right?
So when we did that, when we had Jesse on here a couple months ago, do we remember what the 70-year average for interest rates was?
Well, it's been like
10.7%.
7%.
Like 7.75. So 7 3/4 is our 70-year average. So I mean, even us still at 6% is still under a 70-year average.
Right. And eventually they'll catch on to this and just realize that that is what it is. So if you want to live in a house, cough up the money. Can you
Anybody
guys
else
see me?
thoughts on 2023?
What's that?
Anybody else thoughts? Feelings?
Mary, you've been doing this a while. How do you feel it's going to be?
Well, my take on it was that, the being able to get the people educated on that by the buy downs and all the things that have come back around. I think it feels to me like it's going to be substantially stronger than it was at the end of this year.
Okay.
Because I just agree with Bobby. People are, it's the new normal, the inflation, all that kind of stuff has just, people have put it under their belt and are dealing with it, so people are going to have to be making their moves. Some people wanting to, some people have to, so I feel like it's going to be maybe, February, March. I've got like 3 people that said they were really wanting to start looking the beginning of this year, this coming year.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, I haven't
Let's
seen that for a little while,
go.
Yeah.
Ashley, quickly give us your thoughts and then we'll move on.
I'm not sure what my thoughts are. I came in, I've been licensed over, a little over 2 years.
Okay.
And so I came in at a time where it was full on COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm learning the change of a new market. And so I'm I don't really have too many thoughts to share. I'm just sitting back learning
Good.
and
All right.
hopefully can withstand as a new agent in a new changing market as well.
I think the thing that we all have to remember, and if you've done this any longer than a year, it's always changing.
Yeah.
It's never stagnant. It's never the same. 2016 wasn't 2017, isn't 2023,
No.
you know?
And it's not in 2024, 2025. And that's what, this sort of class today is about. It's about going into 2023, things that I've done in the past that I think are going to be beneficial, and looking into 24 and 25 to sort of, sustain that longevity. Just like Bobby alluded to, buyers are going to have to get used to a new norm. I think agents are going to have to get used to a new normal. Almost, back to 2002, 2006, where, we had to market harder. We had to be more in front of our past clients and leads. 2014, when the market really took off and we had a slight lull, maybe 16, 17, and then 18, it just rocketed it again. I'm not saying things were easy, but, buyers kind of fell from the sky. It was, the tough part was getting a contract accepted, now getting the buyers and the sellers, that's getting for me more into a traditional style real estate market. And I think that's for me where marketing is going to become vital. And, like Jared and I discussed in depth, it's a weird concept being a real estate agent and understanding that you're actually running a business. You're running a gas station, you're running a corner store, you're running a multi-million-dollar company if you want it to be. So investing in your company and investing in yourself is paramount. And we really haven't had to do much of that. I just believe going forward, it's going to become paramount. And we have a lot of tools, a lot of ways to market ourselves, and it's finding the right ones for yourself, and I think that's what I want to try get out of today.
Let's dive in. I'm going to go and share the screen real quick. Which one did we decide we liked better?
I don't mind. It's either one, just seeing the tiles.
Can you guys see my screen?
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Is it moving?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Go back one.
Oh, whoa.
There you go. So,
It's making-
as I was saying a few seconds ago, I think, the agent who starts marketing and finding some key marketing channels, whatever that may be, maybe you gravitate towards door knocking, maybe you do open houses. But there's a multitude of channels that, yes, will cost some money. And there's also a multitude of channels that are basically for free. So starting your marketing, not just for 2023, but, going forward, 24, 25, it builds and builds and builds. And around about 2015 is when I started taking real estate very seriously and instead of just, sort of dicking around, excuse my French.
Hoping it happens.
And I did. I invested a lot of money and it paid off, So it's not only 23, it's also setting it up for long-term growth, so your business grows and grows and you keep working those marketing channels that work for you. And at the same time, not being afraid to drop a marketing channel. Like, marketing channel could be social media, door knocking, as I said, postcards. If it's not working, drop it, find something else.
So if I go door knocking, but I don't actually knock on the door, I should probably stop doing that.
You could sing if you wanted, you could sing a couple of tunes maybe,
Right.
I'm broke, I'm poor, let me sell you a house.
That's not gonna work either.
No, it's not gonna work.
Right.
So go into the next. I saw this quote a couple of weeks ago.
I love this quote.
And yeah, it just it sort of encapsulated everything that I honestly feel. Successful agents aren't actually running a real estate business. You're running a marketing business that just happens to be real estate. And what I like about that is you have to put yourself out there. You have to get out in front of past clients, leads, converting those leads, and sort of how do you do that? Well, you got to market, you got to put yourself out there and find a way to stay in front of them all of the time.
But if I was to share my own experience, I think the reason I didn't do well in the beginning is I didn't know how I was going to fit in. I didn't want to be on a bus stop sign, and I thought that was the only way that you got leads.
Yeah.
I still don't get any though. from
No,
my
at least
sign.
no, not from your sons.
No,
And thank God you stopped the 1-900 number, because that was completely wrong.
I got the wrong leads.
I got into this game because of the mortgage crisis back in 2008. And I was doing loans for a number of years. I had my own loan lending company in England, came over here, did loans. Mortgage crisis happened. And a lot like what we've experienced over the past 5, 6, 7 years, the mortgage crisis, it was just more listings than you could handle. Prices were super low. And there was buyers everywhere. They were calling off the signs. You couldn't cope with all the buyers you were getting in, and the market switched. And then all of a sudden you had to start marketing. And that's when leads really took off, through online apps and Zillow and all that sort of stuff. So I feel we're going a little more back into that kind of, real estate. One of the things I've heard over the years, time and time again, is marketing doesn't work for me, or I don't have the time, I don't have the money. And, you look around and you see these agents are closing 15, 20, maybe 30 deals a year. And, and I guess where I come from with sustained marketing is, finding something you like and sticking at it. And that's really the key, because you can look at another agent and go, why is his marketing so successful? Well, it's more than likely because they stick at it. We tend to think, well, it's been 60 days. I've got nothing from my social media posts. I've got nothing from my postcards. It takes more than 60 days. What I'm wanting to stress is this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And the agents who really, get into the marketing, start working it, will have a successful 2023. We'll have a phenomenal 24, 25, and sort of
Beyond.
Yeah, beyond. Thank you. I lost the word. I was like, what am I trying to say here? So, going through the coming slides, what I want to do is look at what marketing you have done in 2023 and be brutally honest. If you haven't done any, it's okay. It's not a problem. But, what have you done with your own personal sphere? What have you done on social media? What have you done? Anything, just cold calling. We're going to look into that and gather as much information as we can. It's important to be brutally honest and gather as much information so you know where you stand today, and then make a solid plan going forward, because I want to find out what's working for you, what has worked for you, and what hasn't worked, so now we can sort of, work through the weeds, focus on what's working. And if we have to add a few more channels, then we add those as well. Okay. And as it says there, we don't need to come up with a perfect plan. I don't believe there is such a thing as a perfect marketing plan. It's finding what works and then, finding what doesn't work, eliminate that, keep adding. It's almost like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle.
And I think more specifically, though, I think it also is associated to what we're willing to do.
Yes.
Right. If I keep attaching myself to door knocking, but I don't actually accomplish a task, or I don't actually, receive the lead, why do I keep claiming that to be my channel? What,
And, door knocking doesn't work for you, but I might have great success in it.
Right. Right.
So again, I've said this for years and years and years. Do not ever compare yourself to other agents. That's the biggest mistake that we make in this industry, because we all have different talents. We all have different nuances. And
We don't have your cute little accent.
accent. I don't have an accent.
Your-
You have an
Your
accent.
Detroit accent.
my Detroit, my Michigan accent
Right.
from the hood.
Right.
Um,
I think the biggest piece just from here though is don't if you don't have the plan today, work towards it tomorrow. Like keep growing, your marketing plan.
So before you go, as I said, don't worry too much if your marketing strategy isn't ideal. Plans can be revised, sharpened, worked on over time. Just identify what works for you. And you don't need to have, this isn't about getting 10 marketing channels. It's like 3 or 4. Start off with 2. But it's about being consistent. It's about staying on those and then, working them so they, do start bearing fruit. It's like you said yesterday, you don't just start a vineyard. You don't just start producing wine. You've got to plant the vines, grow the grapes. I don't know the exact time, but it was like, if you want to start a vineyard, it's like 3 to 5 years before you can even think about,
Right.
producing wine. So that's what this is about. So this slide here is to give you an example of what to do with your own marketing that you've done in 2022. So you've got marketing channel on the top left-hand corner. So let's just say this year we had Google Leads, Facebook ads, personal sphere, and social media. Now, the reason I've chosen those 4 is because I wanted to show you, you can have like 2 paid marketing channels and 2 sort of free marketing channels. Social media, completely free. Personal sphere, your leads, your past clients, completely free. Yes, Google Leads do cost money. Yes, Facebook ads do cost money, but you can control your spend. And I think that's the key there as well, is to find what you're comfortable with. But at the same time, you're running a business. If you do not put money into your business, you're not going to get money out of it.
Well, we were talking even yesterday, you're spending one of 2 things. You're either spending time or you're spending money.
Yeah.
So either way, you're spending something. So if you have the time, put in the time. If you have the money, put in the money. But either way, you're going to be spending both time and money.
And so, let's just say hypothetically, and this you'll see this correlate to the next slide. You got 400 Google Leads last year, okay? And they were $10 a lead. You spend $4,000. How many deals did you get out of it? Therefore, how much was the cost per deal? It's imperative that you do this step, because we're trying to focus on what's worked, and then further down, what can you work on to improve it? Okay. If you've got 10 marketing channels, put all 10 of them down. If you've got 2, just, basically put the 2. So again, Facebook, hypothetically 800 leads, we spend $2,400. That's $3 a lead. We got 6 deals out of it. Therefore, my cost per deal was $400. So this is going to give you a good idea of how much money you've spent and what you're getting out of it. Because I also think a lot of times we just kind of throw money. I'd like to spend $500 this month, or, I'd like to get 30 leads, but without going back and recapping where has that money gone and what is our rate of return on our investments.
Or no return on investment.
Or no return. That would be, yeah.
Or you haven't done anything.
Or you've just done nothing. And again, real estate for me truly is like what you put in is what you're going to get out. You don't close 20, 30, 40 deals a year because you work a 10-hour week. It just doesn't happen, You don't get paid $250,000 in any job for not turning up to work, for taking half days. If you want to earn that kind of cash, you got to put in the hours.
Definitely. Didn't happen otherwise.
No. So once we're done here, you are going to get all of these slides. We're going to email them out. So this is your sheet. You can do it here or do it on your own piece of paper. But, write down your marketing channels. Go back and look, how many leads did I get out of my marketing channels? What did I spend? Therefore, you can work out the cost per lead. You know how many you converted.
And I think this is almost reverse, like really analyze what you did over the last year. Where did the work come from? And what was that source? What was that actual marketing source?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, because if you found out that, hey, I got,
I closed 3 deals. One was my neighbor.
Yeah.
One was somebody who hit me up on Facebook, right? And one was my Lyft driver.
There you go. And this isn't about to well, I didn't have much business, I didn't have many leads. No, it's not about that. It's to find
leads?
What's working,
Right.
Stick with those. What didn't work, let's drop that and find something else that does work for you. So this is going to be your sheets to write down, and you can use the previous sheet as an example.
If I could throw it out there, does anybody identify any of their specific channels? Does anybody off the cuff kind of know what their source is, their actual marketing or lead source?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Anybody throw it out there?
Not everybody jump at once now.
I'm having a lot of luck with this realtor.com that you did.
With the Op City.
Yeah, the Op City, I'm sorry.
There you go. That's,
Yeah.
yep. I like it. I mean, and if you're willing to play, I mean, it does take effort. You have to be available. You have to be kind of, quick fingered to participate. I mean, I love it.
But what's
Oh,
also,
I've answered leads in the shower. I'm not gonna lie. Whatever it takes.
just make sure the camera doesn't come on automatically.
Sorry, I mean.
Oh, I'll scare the hell out of them.
But yeah, I mean, that's the key, is to get business from wherever you can, because once you've got a lead and you convert it to a transaction and you close it, you now have a client that you now can market, and through the agent platform with the AI system and the drip campaigns, you now have one more person you can market to, and that person is going to sell. Again, that's what this is about. So wherever you find your marketing channels, Opcity, great. If you're having success with it, keep at it.
Anybody else want to throw out there? A marketing source, a lead channel, something that they're consistently generating work from?
Nope,
No, nothing.
nothing.
Somebody. Come on, Mary, what do you do to stay in front of people?
Well, I've really resorted to like my past clients, and so I delivered holiday cheer this year, and it's so funny to
Did you say you delivered holiday cheer?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yep. Yeah. So, and I sent it out to people that have left the area too. So, so they maybe stay in touch with their friends that were here as well, or family members, that type of thing. But that's what my focus was the last quarter.
Nice. And I picked on you, Mary, just so you would say that, to be honest. I think that's probably the most imperative piece, is connecting with your sphere of influence. If you have no previous clients, actually you said that you're new in the industry, in the spectrum of 2 years, that's still relatively new, I would say.
Mhm.
Referral business should start generating and going and growing, but it's usually the 5-year mark, So I think just staying connected with your sphere of influence and past clients is imperative. I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the easiest sort of marketing channels, is staying in front of your past clients, again, with the agent platform, with everything that they have there, sending out property reports and, anniversary, purchase anniversary, birthdays, stuff like that. Just setting up those campaigns through the agent platform is a great marketing channel, because you can almost like set and forget.
Totally.
It's about spending the time, and it's free. It's for free and for nothing.
Right.
So then the next step would be to sort of audit your marketing channels. All right. So we all have a website, all through the agent platform. We now have a website. We've all got social media. I mean, I'm sure every one of us is on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it happens to be.
You at least have access to it.
You have access to it, And truthfully, if you're not on Insta or, TikTok, it depends how brave you are to go in front of the camera, but you need to be. I mean, it's never too late. They've been screaming this for years and years and years. You have to get on it. I mean, that's really where you're going to sort of, separate yourself, show who you are, talk, telling a story about yourself. People love to interact. They love to know our stories. I will digress slightly. Putting videos on Instagram, it doesn't matter how silly, how funny, how serious. People love that kind of stuff. They love to see, that human connection. This crazy closing or this silly buyer or something like that. But sort of digress. Where's the dress? There's another one. It was just
It's just underneath.
Oh,
It's right here.
so then, let's just, focus. Okay, I've got a website. What's working? What's working on, on my websites? Well, I like its layout. The design is really good. I've got it looking pretty good with all my different pages. Then, again, look at, well, what can I do to make my website better? What can I do to make people want to stay on my website, click on my website? One of the key components would be a landing page. Landing pages are imperative because you can ask so many different questions. to gain that information from them, their emails, their, you know, phone numbers, etc., etc. So landing pages are key. I bet almost all of us haven't really looked at or focused on the landing page. So that's why I put it there. It's something that you can improve. And so what would my next steps be? Well, my next steps would be, you know, working on my landing page and putting a good bio. As I said, people love that human touch. So draft up a good bio, put it on your website. People read that. People like to see who you are, you know, how long you've been in the industry for, etc., etc. Social media. Maybe your posts are working really well this year. You've been getting a lot of hits, a lot of interaction, but you haven't been doing any videos. So, okay, I need to improve my videos. And they don't need to be long, 10, 15, 20 seconds. You don't need to do, you know, a 2.5-hour video here, just something short and sweet. And, you know, lots of them, you know, a couple a day, one every day, something like that, whatever you feel comfortable with.
You know, I think if I was just to, you know, if anybody's follows me on social media, I think I posted the last time in like 2020, probably, right? But I think what's nice about social media is it gives you the opportunity to put yourself out there to your friends, family, sphere of influence without like asking for the business.
Yeah.
You know, so we send out that weekly marketing email to everybody. We try and put, you know, items of value in that, whether that be marketing updates, whether that be statistics, whether that be just a general post. Using social media to show your relevance and participation in the industry is just the same. You know, just the same as asking for the business, you know.
Well, it's also like, you know, being there at that right time where someone goes, hey, Jared, do you know a good agent? And Jared's just seen your video about the closing you had, and they go, oh yeah, boom, yeah, I know this agent, you know. So, and then, you know, next steps, record more videos. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Improvements, hashtags. I've drafted up, which you'll have access to, that was like 4 or 5 pages of targeted hashtags. And you would be surprised how important hashtags actually are. You don't need to flood your post with, you know, 25, 30 hashtags, but 8, 9, 10 targeted hashtags work an absolute treat, because it then will link your videos with all the other similar hashtags. And that's how people find you, people follow you, etc., etc. So in this example, my next steps would be, I'm going to start recording more videos, start working on targeted hashtags. And there is a newsletter that's going to come out here tomorrow, and you'll have a direct link to that PDF for all those sort of hashtags. So again, this is now auditing what your marketing channels are. So we've gone through what I've been doing. We've written down how it's worked. You'll get a clear indication of sort of what's working, what's not working, what you like, what you don't like. And now this is auditing the ones that you've, you know, done over the past year. And again, just another little tile, another sheet for you to print so you can write it all in there. And it's important to write it down so you can visualize it, so you can see it. You're going to have to go back and do some research. You're going to have to go back and do some digging. So the more brutally honest you can be with yourself, the more you know, the more information you can pull up, the better it's going to be for you when you now sit down and say, okay, what am I going to focus on and what am I going to do? All right. So, you know, just be brutally honest with yourself. So,
I mean, you know, just real quick, is there anybody who's brave enough or willing to maybe to throw out some of the opportunities that they already know that they have in their business? Has anybody identified any changes or shifts that they personally want to make? It's kind of a big one. I mean, I mean, even just what I've admitted, even participating on social media would be a big step up for me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that would be a big one.
Same. I'm going to step up my game in social media, and my goal for 2023 is video.
There you go. Love it, Haley. Thank you.
video.
You know, here's one thing too, though, here's one thing that I learned recently, though, is video and YouTube is one of the first things that's prompted when searched. If you use video and YouTube, you'll end up being found more naturally and organically. Let's say you did a video on, I don't know, what's Horsetooth Ranch. I made that up. I don't even know if that's a community, you know, but if you make a video about something, posted on YouTube, make sure that you have the you know, Horsetooth Ranch, you know, marketing update, you know, that can be found when somebody's searching Horsetooth Ranch. I
Yeah.
mean, so remembering that a lot of this stuff is long-term play. So if Haley's making those videos and she's posting that on her social media and putting it on her YouTube channel, she actually has the chance to be found naturally and organically, which is, you know, kind of that
Well,
long play.
And also I found again and again and again,
Totally,
you know,
totally.
because the more you put out there, the more your SEO, you know, grows, and the more videos people can find. And it also, you know, shows people that you are knowledgeable, you know, you're knowledgeable about this particular area or this field of real estate or stuff like that. And people love information, you know, that because all they get is the news, you know, and let's face it, the news is pretty shit. You know what I mean? It's talking about, you know, the market's this and the market's that, and it fills people with fear. If you can become that sort of balanced sounding board, that's going to, you know, put you in good stead, and people will reach out and ask questions. When they do, make sure you answer. Always answer back, you know. So the other thing I feel and believe, and this I've got to say happened to me organically, I didn't really do this, it just kind of naturally happened, is coming up with like a mission statement, a vision statement, and your values. Okay. And so, you know, writing these statements, you know, define sort of where you want to be in the future. How do you want to get there? And then what are my, you know, what are my values? What do I want people to see in me, you know? And one of the things that have happened to me organically was I always used a hashtag line saying, real estate is not my side hustle. And it kind of sounded silly, but I put it on everything. And that's how people almost became to like refer to me, was like, oh yeah, John, you know, John referred me to you, and, you know, hashtag, you know, real estate's not my side hustle. Jared became he was a flip-flop guy. You all know Jared wears flip-flops in, you know, 25-degree weather.
I've got boots on.
You got boots on today, unfortunately. I was very disappointed to see that. So these are things that sort of carry you, you know, month after month, year after year. They become who you are. And it's also something for you to fall back on, you know, when you've had a down month or you don't feel like getting out there, you know, you can look back onto your mission statement, your values, you know, why am I doing this? I feel that everybody wants to earn six figures. Of course we do. We all want to earn $200,000 or $300,000. When you take your eye off of the dollars and take your eye on serving clients, selling properties, making those phone calls, educating, converting, if you close 30 deals a year, you're going to earn $350,000 a year.
Right.
You just are, straight up. And I'll challenge anybody, you know, to go close 30 deals and not earn, you know, $350,000 a year. For me, focusing on the dollar amount is not what I've done. I've always focused on, if I can close this many deals, I'm going to earn this much money. How do I get those deals? Okay. So writing a vision statement is exactly that. I would like to have contacted this many people in the next 60 days. My vision is I would like to have, taken, these many people out to see houses, or this many listing appointments. Put a time sort of focus on that. You know, in the next 3 months, I want to have had 3 listing appointments.
And when we were chatting about this, you know, if we looked at it in a sequence, you know, our mission is what we do each day. You know, my mission is what I'm dedicated to accomplishing, and the vision is where you want to be and where you're headed. You know, kind of keeping that in mind. What is it that you're actually willing to do and participate? What's the actual mission? Where do you aim to go? And then your values really are is what's going to carry you through it. You know, I got known as my values. And I can say it is really being genuine and authentic. I knew that's what got me through it at the beginning. And I know that's the success that I have now is really just being genuine and authentic. If this isn't a good move for you, and you said it, you know, to me the other day, you were very honest when you were out with your clients, and that's what they loved, you know, that you would say, no, this isn't the house that you should buy, you know, no,
yeah,
don't put yourself in this position, or that you should be doing this, you know, being genuine, being authentic, being honest and true.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I've been in multiple situations where clients, you know, would want to write an offer on a property. And I'd be like, no, we're not writing on this property. This is not the house for you. It's going to cost too much money. You know, one of the things I pride myself in is going back even before Titan One days back into Colorado Home Finder Realty. We're talking 5 or 6 years. Never having a deal bust after it went under contract. And that's fact. That's a straight up stat, you know, because when I go under contract, you're closing, not because I'm forcing you, not because, you know, I'm going to, you know, put you in the wrong house. It's the opposite. Once you found that house, that is the right house. So in truth, yeah, for the past 6+ years, never had a deal fall out of bed once it's gone under contract. So that's my value. You know, my value is finding you the right house, making sure it's, you know, you're not going to walk into a money pit or, God forbid, make the biggest mistake of your life, you know. So again, contrary to popular belief, making money is not a mission that will motivate you. Sure, it's great. You know, hey, I want to make $100,000 this year. I mean, it will motivate you, but it's not sustainable. It's not a fire that you can keep burning. If you want to keep your flame alight in real estate, it's finding that passion. This isn't a job. This isn't a career. This is a lifestyle. You know, 7 days a week. I'll cut my phone off at 2 o'clock in the morning, but if you call me at 10 o'clock, I will answer the phone. So for me, it's a lifestyle.
Brandy even said it. She answers the phone in the shower.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's okay. That's one thing I've never done. Maybe we should start doing that. I got a few more to go. So truly think about what inspires you to put in, you know, the 40-hour, the 60-hour, the 70-hour week. Because I challenge anybody to work a 9-to-5 job, put in your obligatory 40 hours and earn a lot of money. It just doesn't happen. You know, the CEOs who make millions of dollars, they are working 70, 80 hours a week.
Right.
Okay.
But you said at the beginning, you will get out of this what you put in.
You will, 100%.
Right.
So, you know, my belief is if you want to make it in real estate, you have to dig deeper. You have to look into yourself. You have to find, what do I want to do in order to be successful? Tying that back in, the real estate market has changed. I believe we have to start doing a lot more marketing. Buyers are just not going to fall from the sky. And don't forget, there's 30-some thousand agents in the state of Colorado.
36,000.
We're going to have more competition, people. You know, we're going to have a lot more competition. So up on the right-hand side, I jotted down a few questions just to help prompt you. You know, what is it about your career that you enjoy the most? Again, this is not going to be graded. Nobody's going to, you know, say you've passed or failed, but it's just a prompt. Like, what do you enjoy about this? What is it? Do you like working with investors? Do you like
First-time home
buyers? You like going out and looking at properties? I mean, personally, I get a kick out of also looking at people's houses. How do they live? You know, I love going through new builds and seeing all the new things. I mean, I love new builds because of all the new. Well, there you go. But for me, it does. Right. You know, what prompted you to get into real estate? I think this is something that we forget. You know, us that have been in it for a long time. You know, 10, 15, 20 years. You do forget why you got into it. And I think to remind yourself of that does help. How will this help me achieve, you know, my mission? So you know, write down your mission statement, and how does all of this help me achieve that? What do I have to do to achieve that? And then, you know, one last thing, Jared Wempen, is committed to helping buyers, investors, millennials. You know, my neighborhood. I'm committed to working my neighborhood and helping my neighbors gain wealth through real estate. You don't have to put gain wealth, you know, wealth through real estate, but whatever you want. That was just sort of, you know, my example. I happen to believe, and I think, you know, we can prove it time and time again, that's one of the quickest ways to gain generational wealth is through real estate. Just look at how much the properties have increased over the past 5 years.
70 years.
Yeah, I think over 30 years. What was that slide that Brittany pulled up?
Brittany, are you on? What was that? It was
like 590
something percent.
Yeah, just in Colorado in the past 30 years.
So if you bought a house and stuck through your mortgage for the 30-year mortgage, you would end up gaining 500% interest or
Almost-
500% appreciation.
Almost 600% appreciation.
Right.
Yeah. And 60-some% in the past 5 years. Any questions so far? Any
Any
thoughts,
thoughts?
ideas?
If I was just to be honest, if I was to say why I got in the industry, it was money,
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
it was freedom.
Mhm.
But I also realized that if I wanted the money and the freedom, I had to work.
Mm.
So it really didn't have as much freedom as I anticipated. But what I realized was my freedom was dictated to where I was too, though. I was able to do my job where I was located, but I could also take my kids. So that was part of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're all in it for the money. No one's going to do this for zero. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. But if you constantly wake up every day saying, I want to earn 100,000, I want to earn 200,000, that fire doesn't last long, because unless you work the business, you're not going to get it.
Right.
Any thoughts or questions? No.
I think so. Here's where Damien put this together. This goes back to what I was just saying, that mission statement, that vision and the values. What is the mission you aim to accomplish? What is it that you plan to do? Where do you plan to go? And what's the values that are going to kind of carry you there?
I think what I want to add to that is what Damien said earlier when he talked about just waking up saying, I want to earn this much money. If my focus is on money, I'm never going to get it. But what you said earlier, Damien, was the important thing, is that your focus is on the people. So if you care about the people and the people actually matter to you, genuinely matter to you, and you let them know that they matter, you will be successful in this business. But if you only count the money, you will lose.
Totally.
And I've seen it time and time again. I used to do a mentoring coaching program at my previous company where Jared and I worked, and you would see like the agents come in and they're enthusiastic, and you would work with that, and they would be all gung-ho, and they would do super well in the first year. And the first year, everybody knows you're an agent. So your uncle and your auntie and your second cousin and everybody's coming out the woodwork.
You're excited to tell your story.
And you very quickly go through your personal sphere. And almost every single time without fail, the second year, crash and burn. Because they thought, well, this is easy, everybody's coming to me. And then second year, bam, everything would just sort of fall off a cliff.
Ashley, I don't want to pick on you, but didn't you have a phenomenal first year? Was that Ashley?
Yes, I did.
Phenomenal first year. How was your second year?
No one's judging, be honest.
I think I've sold 6 this year.
Nice.
There
That's
you go.
solid. That's great.
Solid.
Right.
Um,
But I think, to piggyback on what Damien and Bobby, both just said, I got licensed at the end of 06, 07 and did absolutely nothing with it because I didn't know how I was going to fit in. And I think that once I realized that this was a service industry and not a sales position, I identified what it was that I actually knew. I knew at that point, my item of value was service. Like I was able to help people.
Yeah.
So I actually found a lot. That's kind of who I am today. And I say it all the time. I have nothing to sell and only service to offer. How can I help you? And I say that all the time. I really have nothing to sell and I only have service to offer. So I actually found success doing, I think, and leaning into what Bobby and Damien are talking about. And that's just serving people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, the things here is you don't have to be, I don't want you to be conservative, as, not even realistic, like I want to, have 15 listing appointments in the first 30 days. This is about getting excited, about getting jazzed, about really sort of getting into your business. It's not about, oh, I didn't get my 15 listing appointments. It's about like just setting these goals, even if they're lofty goals. It's just so you wake up every day enthused, and reminding yourself of your mission statement, your vision, your value statements. Keep coming back to it. You don't have to do it for the entire 12 months. Just maybe do it for the next quarter, even every month. But it's just, doing it, being consistent and staying at it. Some of your values could be clients first, honesty, transparency, whatever it is, find those values you want people to see in you, because that's also going to come through and should come through in your marketing channels. You know, when you do email campaigns, smart plans, text messages, social media, especially, you know, your bio, that's where you come through as a person in your videos, that sort of thing. Next. So yeah, so again, you can use the slide to write it, or, you know, own piece of paper. But that's, yeah, you can just come back and read that.
If I was just to give one kind of, you know, you keep talking, which makes me then think about it on my own side. One of the mission statements that really drove me.
I just keep talking. Sorry, I'll shut up.
No, please, Davey, would you? No, I think one thing that became my mission was when I first kind of got into this, you know, I had teeny little kids. I had a 6-month-old and a 2.5 when I first got, you know, when I went full time. I didn't have a choice. Like this had to work. So I had to make money. I had to work, but I also, my mission each day really for me was would my kids be proud of me? You know, what I did today, would they be proud of what I was doing? When I was dropping them off at daycare, when they were going to that babysitter and I was going to the office to go work, my mission really was ensuring that I was working hard enough that they were proud of me.
Well, again, I'm just looking over at you and we've got this video of Bora Bora. And I guess I've, you know, reading my vision statements, I've put, where would you like your business to be? And I've honestly just realized something. Your vision can be, in 2 years' time, I want to take an out of this world trip to Bora Bora. I mean, your vision can be whatever you want it to be, you know, but it's about seeing where you want to be in the future. And then how do I get there? You know, so just, you know, basically just write whatever you feel, whatever you think. There's nothing.
What's driving you? What's actually in
yeah, you know, saving for the kids' college, you know, anything. What is your vision for the future?
Love it. Mary just asked a question. You said, what's your favorite video creation site? Is that what it was, Mary? Yeah. What videos are you wanting to create, Mary? Give me more specifics.
You're on mute.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, I know BombBomb is like a big one. I don't know if that's if you have to pay for that one at some point. But YouTube, how do you do that?
You know, ironically, I have a 10-year-old sweet little Aspen daughter girl. She taught me how to do.
She taught you.
She taught me how to do YouTube Shorts the other day. I'll do a YouTube Shorts class for everybody, only because they have a lot of it, like advanced technology in the sense that you could do like filters on it.
Mhm.
It has automatic like lighting and brighting, and you could like do cuts and takes. So I'll do a YouTube short class, because if you really did YouTube videos, they're one of the easiest ways to be found organically on Google, right? But it also, once you do that YouTube video, you can pull that link and then just include it in your email or text message.
Right.
Hey, just made this little video for you, or hey, you know, just shoot the link to somebody, and it's just the same. So I would say YouTube Shorts, you know, is probably what I would say the easiest.
And yeah, I mean, we can also do a sort of a marketing class here in a week or so, you know, like with, you know, how to, we're a bit more focused on like videos or smart plans, you know, actual, you know, like what to do and how to sort of do it.
Love
you
it.
know. All right, so we've done 2022. You've sat down, you've scrutinized, you've been brutally honest with yourself. You found out what you like, what you don't like. Now we've got to take that into 2023 and then beyond. So again, you know, we've got social media, self-branding. I mean, self-branding is crucial. I don't think people understand how important it actually is, because we see, well, you know, Coca-Cola, we see Johnson & Johnson, we see all these major brands. We don't actually correlate that to, that's just as important for them as it is for us. You don't need to be a Coca-Cola to have self-branding. I've put it in there because it's not really like a marketing channel, but it's really the basis of all of your marketing. It needs to be consistent across the board. And when I was working on this and putting it together, I thought I'm going to put this in here and sort of digress slightly, because you're getting yourself out there. however it is, and people are seeing who you are. So it's important that you have the same, email signature, however you draft that up. The amount of times I get an email and you just see, Jared Wimpin, phone number,
Or just Jared.
or just Jared, or sometimes nothing. People, make sure your emails, your social media, or it has your information, the same company. You don't have to have Titan One Realty and 68 fonts in your name. No, make your name big and make the company a little smaller, but make it consistent. So self-branding is hugely important, and something you should really sit down and focus on and make sure it correlates across all of your channels, from the agent platform to your own emails to whatever you're
Google My
sending out.
Business.
Google My Business,
Yeah.
postcards, handwritten notes. That's what people see and latch onto,
So your little tagline, real estate's not my side hustle,
Hashtag it's not my side hustle. Yeah.
would be your branding.
Part of my branding. Yeah, exactly. I put that under anything I posted, whether it was personal or business, posted my kids, it was always there, because your hashtags will then start interlinking with each other, which brings up your sort of visual presence, your social presence.
I don't know.
Oh no, they do, yeah. Because you can go to any post and click on a hashtag, and it'll take you to all the posts associated with that hashtag. And we're also going to talk more about that in another class. Again, we touched on past clients, touched on leads. So we all know about, and I've used these again because they were correlated from 2022. So lead gen, goal setting, key performance indicators. How do we know that we're being successful? How do we know that we're achieving our goals? So it's about writing down how we're going to generate the leads, whatever that may be, setting the goals, how are we going to achieve that? And then how do I know I'm being successful? Because a lot of times we just don't know. Well, I made 100 phone calls and it didn't speak to anybody, or made 100 phone calls and I haven't been out with anybody. Well, setting those goals to then correlate back to, well, my goal was to convert 5 leads. I converted 6. All right. I've now hit my key. I've hit my performance indicator. Knowing those goals and hitting those is what helps us, keep finding out that this is the right marketing channel for us and keep moving forward. So, making a decision about which marketing channel to invest more time and money in based on the information that you obtained from last year. For the vast majority of the agents, this is a clear call, and then correlating that to the future. So then pick the channels that have been most effective in the past and establish those objectives, set those goals. So that's why 2022 is so important, because you don't want to keep doing something that's just not working for you. Just because Jared, does something doesn't mean that you have to do it. It's finding what works for you. And this is what what we do, not year after year. It's like month after month, quarter after quarter. Something's not working, drop it. There are so many ways we can market. You just don't want to be doing 10, 15, 20 at a time. That's too much. You just want to find 4 or 5, even 4 that sort of really work for you. Jared Scott, what is it? The 107? We're going to get that out. So
Yep.
what was that?
We put together 107 kind of lead source secrets. If you're wanting to create leads, we kind of put together 107 different ways to generate those. So we'll get that out by next month.
Yeah. And again, just to come up with, with some ideas, if you're feeling stale or you can't sort of, really come up with some things, this is a great resource to have. Can we get rid of that up top there?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, is that you bring it down? Sorry, there's just this. So, in your marketing performance audit, what did you do now? You went back.
Wrong
Sorry,
way.
Joe's playing around. Look at, your Facebook ads, Google Leads, social media, personal sphere. Write down what's been, found the ones that are working for you. Again, I'm trying to focus on 2 that you're going to pay for, 2 that are kind of free. If you do not invest in yourself and in your business, you're just not going to be successful. You've got to find some sort of, funds that you're comfortable with. You don't have to invest $1,000 a month, but it's really finding, some free cash if you can to put into your business. I've written did I do that on the newsletter? No, it is on the newsletter about, I'm sending out a newsletter tomorrow. And then there are some ideas about looking at various things that we all do in our lives that we can cut, we can reduce, and allocate that money into sort of marketing. So let's say you're going to focus on Google leads. What's my goal? Well, I want to increase my leads by 25%. Okay, so that's going to cost a little more money. You want to get more leads coming in. And how am I going to know that, yes, I've increased my leads by 25%, but now it's paying dividends. Now I'm actually, getting something from that. And that's the key performance indicator. So what's going to be a good key performance indicator for you? Because getting an extra 25% leads, over a monthly basis, yearly basis, whatever happens to be, that's great. But how do you know that it's now been money worthwhile spent? So you could say, for example, I'm going to increase the amount of calls I make, increase the number of appointments that I've set, and also the amount of converted leads. How many do you want that to be? I'm going to make an extra 50 calls a month. If I have an extra 2 appointments set, for everybody, it's different, but writing down these key performance indicators so you can go back, because, if you go, hey, I'd like to have an extra 2 appointments a month, but you don't write it down, you don't have somewhere to go reference, we can forget, we can become uncertain. So to go back and then actually reference that it is important. So again, Facebook, we in this example, we worked out that Facebook was working for us in 2022. So we're going to keep doing that. Our personal sphere was working for us in social media. So writing down, what your goal is to increase that, to do more videos, do more, whatever it is. Then also writing down, what are you going to see as a success within yourself? Yeah.
I mean, if I was just to add my own personal, feelings about this, KPIs, key performance indicators, was imperative for me. I'm a huge fan of online leads. And the reason I like online leads is because I could call them from my phone, and no matter where I was, remember, it was about being with my kids and having a good time. So I picked online leads because they were at my phone, and no matter where I was, I could work them. But I also started to realize that it took a quantity of leads, and then it took a quantity of calls. But then I also realized, well, once I started making X number of calls, I was also then setting X number of appointments from those.
Right.
So I started to identify my own. I knew that 80% of the time I was going to get a voicemail. I knew 30% of the time I'd get a response from my first text. I knew those key performance indicators from what I was doing, but that's because I was writing it down, analyzing it, and then adjusting my behavior and increasing my production based on what I was finding.
And the reason I think that the key performance indicators are so important is because if you like, I'd like to have, 2 appointments a month, and you go a month without any appointments, and you go back to your KPI like, whoa, I kind of need 4 appointments this month to make up for last month, because it's about accountability. It's about holding yourself accountable to your goals, to your performance indicators, and hence also adjusting if, you realize something's not working for you because you haven't got any appointments from your Google leads. Maybe you need to look at something else,
Well, and here's one thing, the reason I love Bobby so much, when we first met, Bobby, you said one thing to me, and it was one of 2 things is happening in your business. You're either not talking to enough people, or the way that you're talking to the people isn't effective. And I think that's one thing I knew too. If I'm having these conversations and I'm putting myself out there and I'm doing it, make sure that we're doing it right. Analyzing your business and analyzing the result you're getting from it is imperative.
Absolutely. It's kind of like stock taking, isn't it? It's kind of, if you own a liquor store, you've got to keep track of like what's coming in and what's going out.
Right.
You
keep buying,
you keep buying,
the cheap shit that ain't selling. Right.
You get hit with a bunch of cheap shit in the back of the warehouse,
Right. Yeah, you got a bunch of cheap shit.
and you got no money in the bank.
Right.
Let's crack on. So again, do this on your own piece of paper or print this slide. Just don't copy exactly what's on the previous slide. That's an example, but you've looked at your marketing channels from 2022. You're focused on what's going to work for you. You might want to have some new marketing channels you want to focus on. Put them down here. What are your goals? What are your KPIs? This is important. Keep this, put it in a folder. You know, don't just scrunch it up and throw it away. So this is your slide to do that on.
I think the KPI is the most important piece because it helps us analyze the results we receive. If we're talking door knocking, you know, and my effective rate is 1 out of every 100 doors, but it takes me 4 hours to do 100 doors. I can now analyze and realize 4 hours in, I get one
You
appointment.
better start walking.
8 hours, 8 hours in, you know, I've got 2 appointments.
Yeah. So then you know that, you know, it's going to take me a whole day to knock on 200 doors, but I should get 2
2 appointments from it. And if I did that once a week, I had 1 8-hour day a week, I'm pulling in 2 appointments a week. I mean, you know where your business is coming from. And if you don't know where your business is coming from, that's why you're not finding much business.
And actually, you just hit the nail on the head. You need to know where your business is coming from.
Hoping does not work.
Well, you know.
It's like shit in one hand, hoping the other. Right?
And as I said, I mean, if you don't believe the real estate market has changed and is going to continue to change, I'm not saying it's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's going to be difficult. It's just
a moving target.
It's shifted,
Right.
You know, and so if you don't shift with it, you're going to be left behind. And you're going to have a very difficult 2023, 24, 25. You know, this is really setting up now for the future. So budgeting, as Jared said, it's money and it's time. Mooney, Mooney.
Yeah, that's like money.
That's real estate money.
What did Jared write this?
Jared actually did write this. Yes, this was not me. I'm blaming you for that one. Jared's already sending me his stuff to read over, to proofread. No, just kidding. So you've got your marketing channels. Write down, I'm willing to spend this much money in Q1 and time. I want to put this much time in. Again, this is about accountability. It's about coming back and looking at it. So in Q1, I'm willing to spend $300. Okay, I'm going to put $100 a month.
Well, then pick your channel.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we've sort of got the channels from 22, bring it to 23. So write them down here, and then what do you want to spend each and every month? You may only want to spend $100 a month for Q1, and then increase it in Q2 because hey, we're converting. You can see it as sort of building. So now you're prepared to put a little more money, a little more time into it. As I said, I promise you, what you put in is what you're going to get out. If you're going to put in 10 hours a week, you're going to get $10 a week. That's all.
That's it.
That's it. No.
But I think this is imperative, just to remember, you're spending one of two things, if not both, time and money.
For me, it's both. Now I understand not everybody has
Social
a lot
media
of
takes
money.
time,
Yeah.
probably not money. Right.
No money on social media.
Unless
Straight
you're
up.
boosting posts, you're
No,
doing
but
ads.
you don't need to. I mean, but again, with targeted hashtags, you can really boost your posts. And that's like nothing we touched on, something we want to talk about, but we can get into that. So again, your last and final step would be planning your marketing calendar for the year. Again, if you want to do this month to month, you want to do it for the whole year, it's up to you. But once you've decided which marketing channels you want to double down on, the ones you want to focus on, working how much time you want to spend, the next step is set an appointment with yourself. Literally set an appointment. Okay, we all need reminders. We all need Google Calendar to pop up and say, you got a training class on Tuesday, you got a training class on Thursday, you need to go and take the kids to the dentist, whatever it is. Marketing's the same. Set yourself every single day, every second day, whatever you want it to be, that appointment, between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. I'm going to do this. So again, what you're going to include in your calendar is going to depend on your marketing channels, what time you want to put in, and how consistent do you want to be? One of the most common things I see agents is they're consistent at being inconsistent.
Right.
Consistently
inconsistent.
Thank you. And that's what marketing is. It's about being consistent. Just keep doing it, keep at it. Setting your KPIs is going to tell you whether you're being successful and whether you should drop it and pick something else up. So fill your calendar with as many days, weekly, monthly tasks as you can. And Google will remind you every single morning, it'll pop up, And that's also one way you can sort of hold yourself accountable. So that's kind of my take on marketing. I got, lots more ideas. If anybody would want to sit down, have a conversation, let me know. For me, it's been a huge success over the years. And when I started and genuinely started investing in my business is when it took off. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, if I was even just to share my own, my own experiences my career didn't take off until I actually took off, till I actually made the
Until you
decision.
met me.
I mean, that's when it actually went down.
It went down, yeah.
Right, it digressed. But I think it really was just that dedication, and commitment to it, I mean, really putting that vision together, putting that mission, the vision, and value statement together and identifying really where it is that you want to go and how you actually plan to get there.
Mhm.
If this is haphazard and a hope, it just kind of almost doesn't work. It's good
You
stuff.
want to, is everybody like in a rush to go off? Do you want to pop up the newsletter very quick that we're going to send out, or do you want to just?
Well, we'll just send it out, let them
Okay, let them take
digest it.
Okay.
Mary, you asked a question about Google Leads. I'm still working on getting our Google campaigns and everything set up. I can do Facebook ad leads for anybody. So I do have Facebook leads available. And those are still at the $10 mark if you wanted them. But still working on Google Leads for you, Mary. I haven't forgotten. I'm not giving up till it happens.
You'll make it happen.
Hey,
That's one thing Jared does, is make it happen.
make it happen. All right. Anybody need anything? Anybody have any
Questions?
wishes, hopes,
Thoughts?
all the above? So we're gonna, like Damien had said, we're gonna put together a class here in the first part of January and actually kind of dive into those lead generation techniques. We'd like to pull together, a lot of them from just utilizing the tools that we already have access to. Landing pages is a huge one.
Mm.
Identifying items of value within our agent platform. One's market updates, sending out, putting all your past clients, even just on market updates once a month. Gives you a chance to reach out to them each month. Hey, did you get your market update? So
Property reports.
property reports, like there's a lot of things that we already have access to that doesn't cost any additional money. So what we'd like to put together is and what we're working on putting together really is what are those things that you already have access to that is free? It's just going to take you a little bit of time.
Well, and as you said, you're going to spend money or time,
If not
preferably both.
Right. So we're going to put that together for mid-month January. But before then, if you guys have anything, need anything.
And then
let us know.
you're going to send this out to everybody,
Yep.
send out the PDF of that. So,
Yep.
okay. So, yeah. So you can have this to reference back at, look back at. I just encourage you to do it. Sit down, take your time. Kind of a, quiet time of year, really,
Definitely.
unless you're planning a raging New Year's Eve party. I'm not sure.
Britt's birthday.
Britt's birthday.
Yeah, you better be there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
it'll be square. All right.
Anybody need anything?
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Yeah,
Happy New-
thanks.